journey to Earth after splitting from an asteroid about 320 million years ago. The fragments landed in the mountains of Siberia in 1947, leaving more than 200 craters. This specimen, dubbed the heart of space, is smoother than most pieces of the meteorite because it broke apart at a higher altitude. Christie's estimates the winning bid could go as high as $500,000. That is a unique Valentine's gift.
I was just going to say, that's actually really cool.
320 million years ago.
Incredible. Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day. Here's some meteorite. That's our time for now. Thanks for tuning in. Be careful. If you're heading out tonight, the roads are going to get a little slippery. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, what UW-Madison students are saying after a woman was attacked by a stranger near campus.
Leaders in the Beloit-Turner School District have a message for drivers tonight after a bus was involved in a hit and run.
Governor Tony Evers has unveiled a middle-class income tax cut. Explain what it includes and how Republicans are reacting.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3. Light snow, sleet, and freezing rain in the forecast for tonight.
Let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Dave Caulfield is on the weather patio. Dave?
Well, Susan, we do have some light snow and possibly some freezing rain falling on the weather patio as I speak. So it may look a little bit worse on radar as opposed to what's actually falling across southern Wisconsin, but that's right now. The atmosphere is still a little bit dry across some portions of southern Wisconsin, so I anticipate the precipitation to pick up over the next couple of minutes, and that's what we're seeing right now. On Doppler track, you can see some heavier bands of snow and possibly freezing rain and sleet showing up across portions of south central Wisconsin. A live look in Platteville, where the visibility has gone way down over the past few hours. Some snow and freezing rain falling there on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Our winter weather advisory goes in effect until tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Just to the south and east, an ice storm warning in effect for portions of northern Illinois. So we could be talking about some slippery roads tonight and even into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures right now, always a key with a forecast like this, in the mid-20s. And your day planner for Madison over the next couple of hours, we do have a chance of some snow, some freezing rain, some sleet, and some slick roads for the evening commute. We'll talk more about what to expect with multiple rounds of mixed precipitation on the way in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Icy or snow-covered roadways are certainly a possibility ahead.
Whatever the weather brings, the Madison Streets Division is doing what it can to keep everyone safe. Our Keely Arthur is live with the very latest. Keely?
Well, we're not really seeing much in the way of any bad weather right now. We're just off the Verona Road exit on the Beltline. As you can see, it's pretty busy, but traffic is moving along just fine. Drivers, of course, have gotten plenty of experience in driving in less than ideal winter conditions this season so far, and they're probably going to have to put those skills to use once again tonight. Now, the Madison Streets Division has their 32 salt trucks and 4 sand trucks out prepping the roads as we speak. Brian Johnson, their spokesperson, says they're hoping just for snow rather than any ice, but either way, go slow, give other drivers space, and please be conscientious of the plow drivers who've been working really hard this season.
At least we've had some breaks with this particular snow, so some of our plow truck drivers can get caught up on sleep, but they're still running a lot of 16-hour days. The same guys that are out there picking up Christmas trees today are going to be driving the plow truck later tonight.
Now, some residential streets will not get any salt, so it's important to be extra safe on those slicker spots. Johnson also says that his crew is going to be working really hard tomorrow morning to make sure the streets are moving ahead of the start of school. He says the Madison School District will likely check in with him. It's up to the school district whether or not they're going to cancel any schools or have delayed start times. Back to you.
Take good care. Keely Arthur reporting live. Keely, thanks.
The Madison man facing charges for persuading a 14-year-old to record a rape and send the video to him claimed he wanted to prove the girl was being abused. According to a document filed in federal court, 31-year-old Brian Rogers saw the video, but he did not report it to police. According to the affidavit, Rogers reportedly admitted to police that he drove to Tennessee, picked up the girl without notifying police. He also took measures to avoid being tracked, including avoiding tollways and gas stations that have surveillance cameras. He also broke the girl's cell phone. He told police he didn't send the video of the assault to law enforcement because he thought it wouldn't stand up in court. Rogers now facing multiple charges.
Meanwhile, law enforcement are reminding parents to have communication with their children about what they are doing on the internet. Lieutenant Kelly Beckett with the Madison Police Department says parents should be keeping lines of communication open with their children. She says you need to ask questions about your child's use of the internet, know what they're doing, and monitor the sites that they're using to be a resource for them.
Always have a plan. And so a lot of times parents will do that with kids. Okay, you're playing Roblox or Fortnite, and somebody solicits you for something, or somebody pops in and calls you a name or asks you for your phone number. What's your plan? What are you going to do? Talk through that with me.
Lieutenant Beckett says the most important thing is to make sure your kids are safe, even if that means asking for their passwords to their social media sites.
The medical records of a 24-year-old murder victim may have been improperly accessed on the day of his death. According to a search warrant affidavit, Dalton Ziegler, who was beaten to death on October 30th, had his medical records accessed by a person not involved in his treatment on that very same day. A detective reported that Ziegler's mother had received a letter from UW Health saying that an audit had made them aware of a breach in Ziegler's personal information. Officials said they received the information about the employee who accessed the medical records and a 25-page internal investigation. A spokesperson for UW Health said that the employee who accessed those records is no longer working at UW Health.
Madison police will keep extra patrols in the Langdon Street area tonight.
They're searching for a man who seriously assaulted a 19-year-old UW-Madison student early Sunday morning. Amanda Quintana is in that area with the very latest. Amanda?
The fact that she had no idea who it was, and he did it for what seems like no reason, they had no prior, they didn't know each other. That's definitely really scary.
Beyond the physical injuries, the emotional trauma that she's going to have to deal with for probably quite some period of time is going to be significant.
Having some issues with Amanda's microphone. Many of the students she spoke with today were concerned they didn't get a WISC alert from campus police about the incident when it happened, and they were talking more. We'll have more on this story coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6. A Madison man has been arrested after assaulting a vulnerable woman who has disabilities. A police report says 31-year-old Michael Neal was arrested for second-degree sexual assault. They say Neal met the woman on Tinder, the social media dating app. The victim, a woman in her 20s, went to Neal's Maple Valley drive home over the weekend thinking they were going to hang out together. The woman ended up in the hospital due to injuries from a sexual assault.
Tonight, leaders in the school district of Beloit are asking drivers to stop for their school buses.
On Friday, a Beloit Turner school bus taking students home from kindergarten was involved in a hit-and-run accident. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter spoke to the bus driver involved and joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with more. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, it was on Friday that a pickup truck during a midday route hit a stopped school bus from the Beloit Turner School District, tearing off the bus's stop sign. And now, through the work of the police department and a local business that caught the pickup truck on an exterior security camera, that driver has been found. And that driver will face several $100s in fines, but district leaders say that might not be enough. Superintendent Dr. Dennis McCarthy says there's been 4 buses hit by cars in the last 2 years in his district alone, and today he issued a plea to drivers to follow the laws.
If that were your child boarding that bus, put yourself in that parent's shoes. If that were your child and you were the parent, would you do that to your own child? And if you wouldn't do it to your own child, I don't know why you would do it to somebody else's child.
No students were injured in the crash, but the superintendent says things could have been worse. And that bus driver is back to work today as well. And he says that in his 30-year career driving buses, nothing like this has happened to him before. And you'll hear from him coming up tonight at 6.
All right, Adam Duxter in Rock County. Adam, thank you. The Wisconsin State Crime Lab has purchased a new vehicle that will respond to crime scenes all across the state. The Attorney General Josh Kaul made the announcement today that the crime response vehicle will be used for the Madison lab. It was purchased to increase the amount of equipment available to forensic analysts and technicians when responding to crime scenes.
Responding to crime scenes, as I mentioned, is an important role that the crime labs play that helps local law enforcement around the state. Testing evidence is also a vital function that our crime labs play, and that work makes a difference in cases around the state. It supports local law enforcement, and it makes our communities safer.
The Crime Scene Response Unit consists of 22 staff members. In 2018, the unit responded to 90 requests from law enforcement.
There is a battle tonight over how to fund a tax cut for middle-income families.
Governor Tony Evers says he won't sign a Republican bill and is introducing his own today. Rose Schmidt live from the state capitol to explain these competing proposals. Rose?
Yes, well, Republican lawmakers are fast-tracking their bill to be voted on in the full assembly next week. But Governor Evers is calling the approach he plans to use in his state budget proposal far superior to theirs.
Republicans say they are proposing the same idea Governor Tony Evers campaigned on, but Evers said that's not the case after speaking to the Wisconsin Counties Association on Tuesday.
Well, right now I cannot support a plan that has no plan for funding in the future. I mean, they would be using money that needs to be used in other areas for starters.
A one-time budget surplus would pay for the $340 million GOP middle-income tax cut plan each year. The average filer would save about $170. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos touting the plan as he testified before a joint committee.
This tax cut is a win for taxpayers, a win for Governor Evers, and most importantly, a win for all of us in the legislature.
But Democrats and Evers are introducing a plan of their own, which would cost $415 million annually and save the average filer about $225.
Our plan is better. It utilizes circumstances that would allow us to cut those taxes and have that cut be permanent going forward.
It would partially be funded by capping a corporate tax credit for manufacturers, but not for farmers. But Vos is refusing to consider a plan that requires raising taxes on anyone, saying it would be a non-starter.
So maybe you could go talk to Governor Evers and explain to him that if you put forward a proposal that has a massive tax increase on job creators, it's going to be DOA.
The full state assembly is on track to vote on that GOP bill on February 12th. And there's no word yet on whether the Senate will.
All right, Rose Schmidt at the Capitol. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. In just a few hours, President Trump will give the State of the Union address in front of a joint session of Congress and the nation. The president is expected to hit several major themes, including border security. The speech comes at a time when there's uncertainty in Washington over whether the government will avoid another partial shutdown. The president says he's not interested in any budget deal from the bipartisan conference committee if it does not include wall money. Senate Republicans have also pulled away from the president, speaking out against his suggestion that he'll declare a national emergency to get money for the wall.
The national emergencies that have been issued in the past have not been contentious. I'm pretty sure that this one would be.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin's 2nd District Congressman Mark Pocan of Madison remains hopeful that a government shutdown can be avoided in the coming days. He wants to raise awareness of the many challenges immigrants face under the Trump administration.
I'm sure he's going to, in some ways, bring up his continued quest for the wall. He's probably going to talk about things that various immigrants have allegedly done in the country, and hopefully he'll talk about things that can unify the country, although based on his Twitter account even today, those things are hard to find.
CBS News will have live coverage of the State of the Union address. It begins at 8 o'clock tonight right here on Channel 3.
The Auto Collision Repair and Refinishing program at Madison College is seeing a drastic drop in students. This year they have 16 students in the first year, only 1 in the second. Compare that to just 17 years ago. They'd see around 40 students in their first year, 18 in the second. The United States Bureau of Labor Statistics says an average of 76,000 mechanics are needed this year to replace those retiring or leaving the industry and to fill some 46,000 projected new openings. Program Director Tim Hoagie says he wants people to know you can be very successful without attending a 4-year school.
There are technicians in our area that are making over $100,000 a year. And it depends on how hard you work, which is important. So if you work hard and you're working while you're at work, you're going to make a very good living, and right away.
And there are numerous opportunities in the industry, including technicians, estimators, paint reps, parts suppliers, and sales reps. More to come on News 3 Now. 8/5 up next. An Arizona nurse charged with sexually assaulting an incapacitated woman has entered a plea. We'll have the very latest.
And former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky is back in court. We'll tell you why.
And on Wall Street, the Dow with strong gains for a second straight day, up 172 points. The Nasdaq jumps 54.5. The S&P 500 adds 13. We'll be right back. An Arizona nurse who was charged with sexually assaulting an incapacitated woman was back in court today for his arraignment.
Nathan Sutherland pled not guilty in court to charges that he raped a 29-year-old patient in his care at Hacienda Healthcare in Phoenix. Staff at the facility were caught off guard when the woman gave birth in December. Police arrested the 36-year-old licensed practical nurse after his DNA matched a blood sample from the victim's newborn son.
My understanding is that he gave the DNA sample after he found that there was a court order which compelled him to give that. He did not volunteer to give a DNA sample.
In a statement, Hacienda healthcare officials said Sutherland went through an extensive background check when he was hired and added that they are troubled beyond words to think that a licensed practical nurse could be capable of seriously harming a patient. Sutherland remains in jail on $500,000 bond.
An appeals court in Pennsylvania has denied the request for an appeal by former Penn State assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky. The 75-year-old Sandusky, seeking a new trial, was sentenced to 30 to 60 years in state prison for sexually abusing 10 boys. The court did rule that he should be resentenced, saying he was improperly sentenced in 2012 using mandatory minimums. Sandusky's arrest led to the school pushing out Hall of Fame coach Joe Paterno and university president Graham Spanier. Let's get a look now at your first alert weather with meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Joining us in the Weather Center, Dave.
Well, Eric, I swear, if I could pick the weather for National Weather Person's Day, I would pick a lot better weather, because we have a lot to talk about in the department over the next couple of days. If you follow me over here, you can see just how much of the area is under some sort of winter weather bulletin. Just to the south and east, we have ice storm warnings in effect for northern Illinois, for southern Wisconsin, winter weather advisories until tomorrow morning, and just to the north, closer to Rhinelander and Eau Claire, some heavy snow could be on the way into tomorrow. Winter storm warnings are there, and it's all because of this first round of wintry precipitation, mostly showing up as snow on radar across much of the state of Wisconsin, but we are seeing those pink colors, especially closer to the state line. That is some freezing rain and sleet that is showing up on our radar. So far, that snow is really what's showing up closer to Madison and southern Wisconsin, but we're being saved by some dry air right now, folks, across Madison, and so a lot of that, what we're seeing on radar, is not making it to the ground just yet, but that might change, and it has changed in Platteville. Take a look at this view on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Visibility down to about 2 miles and some light to moderate snow falling right now in this part of Grant County. Now for Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam, a little bit of moisture on our lens here at the station, and a similar story in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Today's high, 26 degrees, so actually a little bit below normal for this time of year. Temperatures are looking colder, though, as we get closer to the weekend. So right now we're at 24 degrees with some light snow falling at the airport. That wind, though, needs to be accounted for east at 17 miles per hour, making it feel more like 11 degrees. So temperatures right now, and when we talk about mixed precipitation, those temperatures are very important in a forecast like this. 24 in Madison, 25 in Monroe, 28 in Janesville, 23 in Watertown and Waukesha. That's about 10 degrees colder compared to this time yesterday for much of southern Wisconsin, but you could see some of that warmer air off to the south and west. Visibility down to 9 miles in Madison, but what we saw on our Platteville camera really showing up in our visibility numbers as well. 2 mile visibility in Mineral Point, 2.5 in Platteville. So that's something that we need to keep in mind and account for as we get into later this evening. Also, that freezing rain, sleet, and snow potential could make things slippery on the evening commute. So we have alert days in the forecast for tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. Basically, what we have is 2 rounds of wintry precipitation. The first round arriving right now into later on tonight and tomorrow morning. Then we get a bit of a break. After that, a second round arriving Wednesday night into Thursday, and that could bring some slightly more significant amounts of ice and snow to southern Wisconsin. So we really need to watch this weather closely. Tonight, temperatures in the 20s, icy, wintry mix, and some accumulations are possible. And then that freezing rain ends early tomorrow morning, redevelops late. Let me show you what I mean on future tracks. So that freezing line very, very close to Madison. So we could be looking at snow, some freezing rain, some sleet as we get into the next couple of hours. And then the good news is I do think that this wraps up pretty early on Wednesday. And for much of the day on Wednesday, we're actually looking dry with highs in the low 30s and cloudy skies. But then that second round arrives late Wednesday into Thursday. We could be looking at the entire gambit, folks. Rain, snow, sleet, and freezing rain. And at least on our latest models, the snow not looking like the major concern for a lot of us. Now, the farther north you head, the more snow that you can expect to receive. But especially on this second round, watch what happens to our ice totals. They really do start to go up across much of southern Wisconsin. So we'll have to watch that closely over the next couple of hours and as we head into tomorrow. tomorrow as well. Here's a look at your 10-day forecast. Temperatures are looking colder as we get into this weekend, with temperatures below 0 at night and wind chills of 10 to 20 below. Here's a look at your first alert traffic update. On Todd Drive and the Beltline, we are looking slow in both directions. A little bit of that precipitation falling right now. The good news is the accident closer to 151 in Wisconsin 30 has been cleared, but we're still looking at that slow go in many spots. Verona Road eastbound to John Nolan Drive, that's 20 minutes with an average speed of around 15 miles per hour. And that's your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Ahead on News 3 now at 5, the New England Patriots celebrate their Super Bowl victory with a parade in Boston. We'll take you there. Stay with us.
The New England Patriots are still basking in the glow of their 6th Super Bowl victory.
Now, almost 1 million fans lined the victory parade route in downtown Boston. The Patriots defeated the Rams 13-3 Sunday night, Super Bowl 53. Now, they're getting used to this in Boston. Just 4 months ago, the city celebrated the Red Sox winning their 4th World Series championship in the last 15 years.
Beautiful day there, too.
Gorgeous weather there. And while many football fans are sad the NFL season is over, baseball fans are getting excited. The Brewers packing up and heading to spring training out in Maryville and Phoenix. Pitchers and catchers will report in just another week or so. February 13th, first team workout will happen. February 19th, the Brew Crew will spend just over a month down there in Phoenix. In 51 days, they'll start the 2019 season. March 28th, the St. Louis Cardinals come to Miller Park for opening day. Stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Slippery conditions out there.
Yeah, definitely possible as we head into later tonight with some rain, some snow, some sleet, some freezing rain, all possible. Right now on Doppler track, we're seeing mostly snow show up, but we've gotten a few reports, especially north of Madison, of that snow actually being sleet. So sometimes in a situation like this, that radar can be a little bit of a fib artist. So we'll definitely rely on your reports. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect until tomorrow morning, so we could be looking at slick roads tonight into tomorrow, and then a second round of mixed precipitation on the way into Thursday.
All right, Dave, thanks. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.